Sorry, here, are they here? They're not here. No, but they're not gonna come till awards and recognitions, so. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We are about to get ready to start. I'm calling this meeting to order at 5:15 p.m. We're starting with our tribal land acknowledgement. In partnership with the tribes who call Phoenix their first home, we acknowledge and respect the land our schools are built on. We commit to being a strong partner with any and all tribal nations who entrust their children to our schools. We are grateful and honored to be partners. Ms. Valencia, may I have a roll call?
Yes, roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Here.
Mr. Regional Carrillo.
Here.
Thank you. Ms. Erica de la Rosa, Dr. Alicia Vink,
Here.
and Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we have quorum to start our meeting, and we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and the Republic of one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Thank you. Dr. Gonzalez, do we have a recommendation for tonight's agenda?
Yes, Madam President, we do. On the advice of legal counsel, we're recommending that we remove from the consent agenda the item to terminate an employee pending possible pre-termination hearing. There will be no need for an executive session.
Thank you. With those amendments, I move to adopt the agenda. Do I have a second?
This is Carmen Trujillo, so moved.
Roll call.
Roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Mr. Regional Carrillo,
Aye.
Dr. Alicia Vink,
Aye.
and Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great. We're moving on to our awards and recognitions and announcements. I think we're waiting for Ms. Pettit.
While we are waiting for our musical performers, we are very excited to be presenting tonight a musical presentation from our students at Whittier Elementary School. We have first and sixth graders who will be performing for us tonight. And we're happy that this is going to become a regular part of our school board meetings, a tradition that will be able to continue throughout the rest of the school year. While we're waiting, we can go ahead and read some of our awards and celebrations.
Sure. Oh, here they come.
Oh, here they come.
I'll walk right behind us, sweetie. Follow the leader. There you go.
Thank you so much, Ms. Packett. Great job. Okay. Now we'll continue with our awards, recognitions, and announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first one we've got tonight is Magnet and Edison had their Kids at Hope Day. So in November, Magnet Traditional and Edison students celebrated Kids at Hope Day. Board members, staff, and volunteers welcome students with a balloon arch and a red carpet. Staff also led special assemblies throughout the day, and our child nutrition team served students a special picnic lunch. We were proud to serve students and continue our belief that all children are capable of success, no exceptions.
And then I'll go next for Kenilworth Outstanding Educator. Ana Alvarado Aguirre from Kenilworth School has been selected as one of the 5 fellows for the Teach for America ASU Educational Leadership Fellowship. The ASU and Teach for America Alumni in Educational Leadership Fellowship provides financial support to 5 Teach for America alumni who wish to pursue a graduate degree in education leadership at the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College.
And we have Star Awards from Faith North, Hurd, and Lowell. First, we have Bianca Gonzalez, Special Education Preschool Teacher at Faith North. Bianca goes above and beyond to share new resources with our collaborative team members to help with student success. Bianca has a very creative mind and shows willingness to help others. Bianca shows compassion for her students and their families, and she is attentive to their needs. Bianca has taken a leadership role in supporting professional development for instructional assistants. Bianca is a tremendous asset to the Faith North team. The 3 words used to describe her are passionate, resourceful, and knowledgeable. Next, we have Itzel Valenzuela, Preschool Instructional Assistant 3 at Faith North. Itzel is the consummate team player. She is dependable, caring, and compassionate with students. She understands the needs of her students and takes time to work with them one-on-one to develop positive relationships. Itzel is studying to be an occupational therapist, and despite her busy schedule, she maintains a positive attitude and shares her excitement with her learning with others. Itzel is creative and also looking for new strategies to engage students. Itzel is an amazing member of the Faith North team. The 3 words used to describe her are dedicated, caring, and positive. Thank you, everybody at Faith North. Next, we have Hurd. Grant Rose, 1st grade teacher at Hurd. Mr. Rose and Hurd are synonymous. He embodies the vision and mission of working together. Mr. Rose spends endless hours collaborating among his colleagues, developing engaging lessons and attending school functions to build ongoing rapport with Hurd students and families. From his yearly planting of sunflowers to representing growth to the persistent smile on his face, Mr. Rose represents a consistency that is dearly valued in education. On behalf of your rosebuds, thank you. The 3 words used to describe Mr. Rose are generous, sincere, and committed. Thank you for joining us this evening. Also at Hurd, we have Nora Chavez, crossing guard. Nora takes great pride in her role as a crossing guard. Rain or shine, Nora safely crosses students and families with a smile and wave. In addition, Nora attends family meetings and shares her stories about raising kids to shed guidance and hope that throughout hard work, their kids can and will achieve their goals and dreams. Nora does not shy away from the hard stuff that we sometimes encounter during the school day. She is proactive and will ensure that everyone is safe. Nora is extremely valuable to our Herd family. The three words used to describe Nora are motivated, inspiring, and supportive. Next, we have our Lowell Star Award winners, Donna Denial. Yay. Miss Denali is always accessible and interacts with students, parents, and staff throughout the day regarding any situations that may arise. She takes time for students who may need someone to talk to, provides resources for parents, and advises staff with various issues. She has a positive personality, and her experience enables her to handle many situations that occur on campus. Her contributions are not just limited to her area of expertise, but also includes being a member of several committees where she is fully engaged and shares ideas with other staff members. The three words used to describe Donna are experienced, positive, and accessible. Thank you for being here tonight. And the last recipient of our Star Award is Mr. Paul Blanco, lead custodian at Lowell. Mr. Blanco keeps Lowell clean and beautiful by maintaining the buildings and outdoor areas. He has a positive, calm personality, and if unexpected spills or messes happen, he handles the situation gracefully and follows through on completion. He is efficient and very detail-oriented in doing his job, and his work ethic serves as an example to the other custodians. Some of the words used to describe Paul are hardworking, efficient, and detail-oriented. Thank you all so much.
Next, we've got Shaw Montessori's volunteer service. The week before Thanksgiving, Mrs. Church's class from Shaw Montessori went to the agency called Feed My Starving Children facilities to pack food to help children in hunger around the world. Students, along with parent volunteers, measured ingredients that included vitamins, dry vegetables, soy protein, soy flour, and rice. After they measured, they packed the items in bags, sealed, and boxed them. Altogether, they packed 140 boxes, which included 340 meals. From this, 82 children will be fed for a year. The students were so happy that they were able to help children in need.
Dunbar's early Christmas. Christmas came early for some of our Dunbar first graders, thanks to ASU's Hispanic Business Student Association. The university students donated time, gifts, and sweet treats to the Dunbar students and brought the Christmas spirit to the school.
Fun. So Shaw Montessori's robotics team. Congratulations to Shaw Montessori's robotics team, the Tomfooleries. On December 2nd, they participated in the Arizona First Lego League Challenge. Not only did they win the Best Robot Design Award, but they also qualified for the state competition. That includes our awards, recognitions, and celebrations. Thank you, everybody.
And we're inviting the Star Award winners up for a photo. Congratulations again. We are so extremely proud and thankful for all your hard work and dedication to our students. Next, we're moving on to current event summary. Number 1, Superintendent's report.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the governing board, our public this evening, and cabinet members. I want to begin by congratulating our Business Services Department, who just received an award of financial reporting for achievement. The GFOA presents these awards when financial reports are judged to adhere to program standards and represents the highest award in government financial reporting. Congratulations to Mr. Manley and the entire business services team for the outstanding work that they have done to earn this recognition. I also want to give our public a reminder that our English Language Arts curriculum review is continuing through next week in its first phases. Materials are going to be available for online review and in person beginning January 8th. These materials will be available at selected school sites as well as in our governing board foyer. So please check our website for updated information about how to access these materials so that the public can review the selected materials from the committee. Thanks to Dr. Galetti and to the many teachers, principals, and staff who have done the first rounds of reviews. They have been spending hours every night for the past couple of weeks reviewing all of the different submissions to select the best possible programs for our students. Last week, we had the great opportunity to watch President Bueno in her presentation on the student outcomes focused governance. And thank you to both officers for joining our leadership team meeting to help celebrate the school's continued growth with all students. It was wonderful to see President Bueno's passion for serving our students and also to be able to recommend or to commend the work that the schools have been doing so that our focus on all students continues to be a focus for all of us in our district. I also want to extend thank you to our ESPA members who met with us earlier this week to resolve some of the issues that they have been having. In particular, they had asked that we rethink the longevity stipend, which had been put into their monthly paychecks. They asked that rather than put them into small amounts in a monthly paycheck, they get bundled into a one-time stipend just before the winter holiday. And so we are working to make sure that that can happen in the next year. We've also appreciated the partnerships with PECTA and looking at solutions that we can bring to working together. We also have Herrera updates. Our Herrera lobby is projected to be completed the 2nd of February in 2024. And that will include hallways and classrooms as well. Our media center is expected to be completed by March the 1st. So we are still hopeful that with this projection, we are going to be able to move back to Herrera and enjoy our full occupancy there in time for spring break or shortly after spring break. We'll take spring break for everyone to come and help get classrooms ready. And finally, before we end, this is our last meeting before people will be taking the holiday break. So I just want to say happy holidays to everyone and to wish everyone a very safe holiday. We recognize that sometimes events occur that keep us from feeling safe. So we want to make sure that everyone has enough to eat, a place to stay, or assistance with lights and power. If there's ever an issue, there's a number 211 that you can call to get assistance with those programs. They're open 24/7, so anyone who needs something will be able to access that. We will also have a link to that number on our website. We just want to make sure that everyone has everything that they need so that they can be safe during this holiday season. And Madam President, that concludes my superintendent comments.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And do we have any board member reports?
Madam Chair, I'll go quick if I may.
Go ahead.
Can you remind me what S block stands for? It was quick and I can't find the email quick enough, but I just wanted to pretty much echo Dr. Gonzalez's reports because I got to be with her on 2 of those events. So I will just say it was a pleasure to attend that panel as an audience member and hear about our schools, what we're doing as far as the student outcomes focused governance program, and just get to see all the teachers, principals, and staff members at the leadership team meeting. So happy holidays to everyone. Please enjoy your break and everything Dr. Gonzalez just mentioned. Thank you very much.
School board leaders of color. Any other reports?
I just have two. I recently joined a 6-month professional development with Step Outside project through ASU and some other community partners. And it is professional learning for teachers to help integrate outdoor learning into their existing curriculum. I'm really excited to learn more about that and be able to incorporate some things into my own classroom and learn more about how our teachers might be able to do that here in our district. And I know some of them already are. So I wanted to share that. I also will be starting the student outcomes focused governance cohort for school boards who are in the process of implementing with Council of Great City Schools in January. I'm thankful that our board is supportive and our board members are able to participate in things like that. And then just wanted to give a shout out to Emerson and G Road. They are having a winter festival Thursday night at 5:30, and I hope to see some of our families and staff there. That's all.
Thank you. And I wanted to share also that Friday, December 1st, I was able to speak on a panel and just kind of highlight our governance model that we are implementing this school year. And another board president that was on the panel was also from the Creighton School District. So it's really great to have this spark of school districts in the same area. So we have Creighton, Roosevelt, and Phoenix #1 that are moving in this process of working on this framework. So it's really great to see the outcomes that we'll be able to show this school year. Second, I had the opportunity last Wednesday to visit Edison's Noche de Cultura, which is a culture night. And it was really great to see our students present proudly the countries that they have migrated from and share what their food looks like. And also they had their families prepare some meals. They got to share what their flag looks like, what their fruit is. And so it was just really great for them to have the ability to public speak and just speak to adults that they don't see every day. So it was just great job, Mr. Fuentes and team. We're so proud of all the work that you're doing at Edison. Is there anything you wanted to add? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just thought of, I got to attend Garfield's first Friday event, their art presentation that they did, and they gave out awards for the students for different items, and Principal Aviles just did such a great job. There was a good turnout with parents. And so I just wanted to say good job with that. There was something else that popped in my head. Oh, Garfield at Christmas. I got to pop by them I live right near there, so it's really convenient for me to go there when there's events. So the Christmas at Garfield had a great turnout early in the morning. I got to meet a few teachers from Edison that were volunteering, see them again really, but it was a good time. And I didn't write those two down, so I just wanted to make sure I said that before we ended. Thank you, Madam Chair, for the extra time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Moving on to our student outcome focused governance. Item 1, I like to ground us in the work that we've been implementing. We have our student outcome focused governance model. Next. The slogan is student outcomes don't change until adult behaviors change. One example of this is that we make decisions based off of what's going to be best for our students and not convenient to the adults. Next. And in that framework, we have our 6 competencies that we align ourselves as a board, as a district, to make sure that we're in alignment with the progress of what the outcomes that we have set up our students to achieve. Next. And with that, we have adopted our 5 board goals that include our first 2 focused on early childhood literacy and mathematics. our third goal around English learners, and our last two goals around our 8th grade literacy and mathematics. Next. Along with that, we also have our guardrails that we have adopted for the superintendent. And so while the framework allows us to focus on the academic achievement, the guardrails also help us focus on some other areas of opportunity that we have as a district. Next. With that too, the board has also adopted guardrails that help us stay focused and aligned to make sure that we are working in conjunction with administration. Next. I think that's it. Perfect. So I know we have some new faces, but I just wanted to ground us in what is student outcome focused governance. So I'll pass that over to, we're going to discuss our board goal number 1, interim goal 1.0, 1.1, and 1.2.
Thank you, President Bueno. And I'm going to ask Dr. Lloyd to approach the podium. He's our resident expert on our data and works very closely with all of our schools so that the data that we're presenting is data that's familiar to the schools, but also so that we are able to interpret this data and make it meaningful in terms of the actions that we take. So during this process, we provide a monitoring report to our governing board, and the governing board sends us questions for that monitoring. And what we're going to do, have more of a discussion conversation. But what we've got here is the first part of our data is our goal 1, the percentage of 3rd grade students with a pass rate on reading as per AASA, which is the state assessment, will increase from 25% on August of 2023 to 40% by August of 2028. And our first question is actually a question for our interim goal 1, which is on page 2. For interim goal 1, we're 26% from meeting our goal in 5 months. How are we going to ensure that every month we will establish a 5% growth from our students? And this question was submitted by President Bueno.
President Bueno, thank you for the question. Board members, members of the public, thank you for coming and joining us today. It's exciting to be able to share some of this progress that we've made up until this point. And as you noted, we still have 26% to go, but I also want to point out on that slide, I don't know if, who's managing slides, if you can go the next, you'll notice that from previous years, we're actually up nearly 20 points in our progress at this point in the year. So that's a huge celebration. And for me, says that we are on track. And I think what's really helping us with that is that we do have a diagnostic approach. We administer both the iReady diagnostic as well as diagnostic screeners from our core materials, like the 95% core phonics program, that help us get down to the skill level and identify for each student what skills they need to work on. And then we make sure that they get that level of instruction. We also set targets and goals with each student. And then we have regular progress monitoring, so we can see and measure. This is one of those progress monitor points that helps us see how we're doing and whether or not we're on track. And we also have intervention groups for students to make sure that they get some additional targeted support with our K-3 reading interventionists that we have in those grades. And I'd actually also like to invite up our reading assessment specialist, Caitlin Fagan, because I couldn't have done a lot of the understanding of the why behind and how we are being effective and what's helping without her. She really works closely with our reading interventionists and with ensuring that we have a solid K-3 reading curriculum and are building the K-3 reading skills. So Caitlin, do you have anything that you would add at this point?
You covered it.
Oh, okay. I still want to miss anything. I don't want to be, I learned a fancy word yesterday, basically saying that, you know, you talk like you're the expert about things that you're not the expert in. So I'm expert in some things, but not a lot of things. So don't want to miss things. So that's the answer that we have for your first question. Did you have any follow-up questions to that?
I do not. Thank you.
All right, so our second question submitted by President Bueno was for interim goal 1, what is working currently for the student group that is performing at the 50% plus? And I think for this, we should probably start with Ms. Fagan, who's actually been doing a lot of work in the training of our teachers. So let me begin with Ms. Fagan.
Right. Thank you, President Bueno and Governing Board and community members. Thanks, Brant. Brant and I really dug into the data for those students that are performing at 50+ percent growth, right? We're talking growth, Brant? Yeah. And they were all in kindergarten, is that correct? Yeah. So after talking through it, we kind of thought, well, what would be some of the factors we would expect for kindergartners who are showing this much improvement? We dug into some past data through Synergy and found that at least half of them attended Head Start or a preschool in our district. We have reason to believe probably a good majority attended some sort of schooling prior to coming to us in kindergarten. So that's the first one. We also noted that they all started above average on the fall benchmark. So they're not going to have to make as much growth to get to where we want them to go. They're also coming in with a better understanding, obviously, as shown on their fall benchmark. And they are all ahead of their goal currently. So when we set kindergarten progress monitoring goals in NamesWeb Plus, the goal is that by December, they are fluent in 26 letter sounds on a 1-minute timed assessment. We then have a flow chart that all of our schools follow. So we do letter sounds, then we move into phoneme segmentation, nonsense word fluency, oral reading fluency. So we're basically giving them steps to get to being fluent readers. And all of them had surpassed that letter sound goal, which was set to December. So we already know that they're making the steps they need to get to be fluent readers. I can keep going if you want, Dr. Light.
I'll just add, so the measure that we're looking at, this data metric, right, is looking purely at proficiency, right? And so some of it, basically what we're saying is a lot of them were already where we want them to be, basically, in terms of that metric. And so, yes, we are continuing to grow those students. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're growing at a better rate than our other students. They just started ahead of the other students. And so we know for them, part of that is the early exposure, right? Which is critical to academic English that they're going to see and hear at school, right? That's a huge component to their success, at least in some of the information and the data that we had available to us. Oh, yes. And one of the things, obviously, with this too, we understand that what happens in the home oftentimes also supports that, right? In homes where reading is a priority, reading with our children and to our children, that obviously bolsters the opportunity, provides additional practice and experience for students so that they come in already understanding what type of language they're going to hear and listen and see. Listen to and see at school. And so that oftentimes helps. So that is a critical part of our plan as well, right? With family engagement specialists, with some of the things that they share and do at schools, helping share reading strategies and supports for families to have at home to ensure as much exposure and practice and opportunity as possible, as young as possible for our students. Any additional follow-up questions?
All right, so another area, when you look at the chart that we've provided, we talk about the fact that an area that we need to focus is on our African-American students. They have the greatest gains to make when you look at them, that subgroup compared to our other subgroups. And so one of the questions that President Bueno submitted was to ask, how will we ensure that our African-American students will receive the support needed to accomplish this projected goal? And I want to point out, this is a really important component of the student outcomes focused governance that we're really drilling down to make sure that all means all, and we're looking for the solutions collectively to make sure that no student gets lumped into a greater aggregate and gets missed in terms of the strategies that we need to use with them. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lloyd and Ms. Fagan because they have wonderful ideas.
Again, just to build some background around these data, one of the things that we did automatically when we noticed this was we wanted to see, well, what else as we dig deeper into it do we see? And we noticed that in kindergarten and first grade, again, when we went back to the fall benchmark, many of them had a lower starting point. So they're starting behind some of their peers. And so they're going to need some additional time and support to be able to catch up and reach this proficiency target that we have, right? Which is to be on grade level with their reading. But we do see, in fact, there was an exact match of students, and by second grade, they're scoring at the exact same place as their peers by second grade. So we are doing the work in K1 that's helping support those students with removing that disparity for them as they have the time and the resources that they need to improve their reading. Another area that we noticed when we looked at this, so there's not an over-identification of students who are African-American for receiving English language services or for receiving exceptional student services. But there was, we did see in our discipline data that they are 3 times more likely to have a discipline incident. And so that is something that we know needs to be addressed for our students, because that could mean that they are missing instructional time due to being pulled out or having behaviors addressed. So that's something that we will need to address. So with identifying this group, we are looking at research and things that help us understand what we can do to support our African-American students. And we understand that that means that we have to make sure that we are designing our instruction specifically for them. And Dr. Gonzalez can talk a little bit more to the importance of universal design and making sure we understand what our students come with that we can use to help and support them. Oftentimes they have language skills. We just have to help them understand the skills that they need now in school and combine those two so that they can be successful and make that explicit, not just for the students, but for the teachers and the adults working with them, so they understand how to most effectively support the students. And that lends itself or goes into the culturally responsive practices that we're working on, and also some of the science of reading, which talks about the importance of understanding our students again, and how the language that they bring from home, how that can be used to support their reading, because reading actually starts with our speaking skills and listening skills and understanding, being able to hear and understand letter sounds and identify and match those with letters. I'll let Ms. Fagan speak a little bit more to that. Oh, I'm doing great. And that is something that we are trying to provide across our district right now, is training in letters. That's a training that provides information and practice with the science of reading and understanding how each child can and will learn to read with explicit instruction that is targeted for them. Anything to add, Dr. Gonzalez? Any follow-up questions? That question. Okay.
No.
All right, Madam President, that concludes the questions we had on our monitoring report. Can we provide any other information?
Then yes, I do actually have just a few questions, very general. I wasn't sure if we're going to move on to all the slides, so I waited till the end, but I just wonder what our celebrations look like when you see these gains for our little ones, and then how do we acknowledge the leaders leading the student growth. So just how do we celebrate it? I don't know if it's school-based, classroom-based, or just whatever you guys do, since you're the gurus and you get to work interactively with them. I just wondered what that looked like.
Yeah, one of the ways, thank you for the question. One of the ways that we try and celebrate this, we definitely focus on trying to ensure that that everyone knows how much growth they're making and the level of growth they're making and what that means for their academic journey, both our students and our teachers. And so we go around giving some of the awards. I think you may have seen them in the past. We haven't given any awards at this point, but we are taking our reading diagnostic soon and our AimsWeb Plus benchmark. And after that, we'll have that opportunity to go out and share some of those awards and celebrate those successes to help people celebrate and recognize the good work that they are doing. We definitely have a lot of celebrations and some of this progress that we've made with the early literacy. And I think a lot of that needs to be celebrated because it's, when you compare to previous years, even we're doing a great job with the explicit instruction that's helping students to improve those skills.
I will add something that I have seen when I'm visiting classrooms. As the students are taking their diagnostic, it's an instant report for the teacher to see how the students are doing. And so in one of the classrooms that I was visiting, the teacher, as the student's report came in and they saw what the student had done, they went to each student and quietly celebrated, look at how much growth you made. So the students knew instantly that they were making growth and were having these celebrations about what was happening for them in their growth and learning and understanding. The other celebration that we do with our schools, we are trying to make sure that we're taking time out. And board officers, we appreciated you being able to stop by and visit with us. When we're celebrating the work that our principals are doing, that our teachers, our IEISs, it's the entire staff all coming together to provide this kind of robust, intensive work to be able to get the sorts of gains that we're getting. And so to be able to celebrate that in every little way that we can is very motivational and helps us to keep plugging away so that we can get these gains. And then again, having the opportunity to provide the professional development that Ms. Fagan has provided, working very closely with 95% group, but also working with letters and having everyone from principals to the classroom teacher all trained in what is good reading instruction and how do we get the best out of our students has been a tremendous, that's another motivator for people to know that we take our profession seriously and we want to get better at it through better training.
Thank you all very much. I don't have any further questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to C3, discussion on board guardrail number 3. Our board guardrail number 3 is around our board procedures. And I know we have a board member that was taking the lead on that. Do we still have Mr. Carrillo with us? Is he online? Okay, hearing none from him. I was hoping to receive an update on what our progress is with the creation of the board procedures. And I know we will schedule a study session to continue developing those.
Excuse me, Madam President, we did just get a text from Reggie or from board member Carrillo. He had to log off for a work event.
Okay, no problem. So moving on to our community communications. This is the time for the public to comment. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically on the agenda, therefore pursuant to ARS 38-431.01G, actions taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or rescheduling the matter for further consideration and discussion. Due to the volume of the public comments, we will be limiting public comments to 1 minute. I will start with the in-person comments and then we'll move on to the electronic comments. So first up, I have Miss Ginger, and then on deck, I have Jason Parsons.
One minute. My name is Ginger. Okay, good evening, Madam President, school board members, Superintendent Gonzalez, and Cabinet. My name is Ginger Barron, and I taught in this wonderful district for 25 years at Lowell. And some of the best training I received was from ASU and the State Department in early childhood. They provided leaders from across the country to come in and teach. How do we teach young children developmentally appropriate practices? I started subbing this year. When I walked on to Faith North, I found out that we had a jewel in our district. Faith North is amazing. As soon as you walk into the campus, the students are greeted by their names. The parents are so comfortable leaving their wonderful children with the staff. Each classroom has lessons posted which reflect learning, music and movement, rich literacy centers.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. I know we're supposed to monitor and adjust, but my final comment is that I absolutely love subbing at Faith North. It is such an upbeat, loving community that has the child's need at their core. If I had a young child, I would definitely want them to be at Faith North.
Thank you.
Mhm. Sure. I would be happy to email them to you with my change.
Okay. Jason Parsons, and on deck, Tamilia Valenzuela.
Hi, my name is Jason Parsons, and I was originally scheduled for a termination hearing. There's basically planning on firing me without actually giving me a chance to speak in my own defense or call witnesses. I was notified of this last Tuesday. Earlier today, I was notified that after confronting them about the fact that this was a violation of my right of due process, that they would do what they should have done in the first place, which is schedule a meeting where I can actually state my case and call my witnesses. Okay, no, but the thing is, the idea that they even considered that it is ever appropriate to terminate an employee without giving them a chance to speak in their own defense and to call witnesses is a disgrace. Okay, and the notion that the HR department has recommended my termination, well, you know, without having talked to any of the witnesses that could testify on my behalf. If they have that, I
Thank you.
One way or another, whether or not that of doing this has been a disgrace.
Your tablet. Mr. Parsons, your tablet.
Thank you.
Tamilia Valenzuela, on deck, Paul Smith, Leonard.
The screen is on. I'll be real quick. I just wanted to offer thanks to Garfield Elementary, where my little dude goes to. I know sometimes as board members, y'all have to make decisions that people probably don't understand. And I just want to thank you for your bravery to understanding that the time our students spend within this district is so small and every little minute counts. And so to just be that brave and courageous of making sure that every moment that they're in this district counts means so much, especially for my own child who started back over here in Phoenix L in 6th grade and has absolutely blossomed and has had so much support from the staff at Garfield and making sure that his transition to high school will be as smooth as possible. I just wanted to thank you for your leadership and for the amazing work that the staff at Garfield are doing.
Mr. Paul Smith. On deck, Rebecca Ross.
Good evening. My name is Paul Leonard. School. I'm here to support our school community, which has grown along with our children. Our neighborhoods in historic Central Phoenix need more schools like LBM, not less. The move to a location uptown isn't just about a longer drive for parents, many of whom work and struggle to make drop-off and pickup times. It's about community. I'm not sure what your plans are for the future of the school building. I do know that our school is using every inch of this precious space for its highest, best, and original purpose, the education of young children. Moreover, our school immerses children aged 2 to 5 in Spanish, a language that is a growing and intrinsic part of Arizona's past, present, and future. I urge the board to do all you can to reach an agreement that benefits all parties and allows this school to stay rooted in our community. Thank you.
Rebecca Ross. On deck, Justin Campbell.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rebecca Ross. As mentioned, I am a PTO member at Little Big Minds Monterey campus, and I'm also a mother of a daughter who attends there. My role as PTO member is a community engagement officer, in which that I directly communicate with local businesses to help fundraising and event planning for the school. And since the school has been, our school Little Big Minds has been housed at Monterey Park campus, on 3rd Street and Osborne, we've been able to partner with multiple local businesses through fundraising and hosting events. Places such as a bake shop, the Teapot, Churchill, the Dinosaur, Urban Cookie, Luana's Coffee, Greenwood Pecker, Gazooks, and many others. And through our partnership, we've collected a financial impact of that brought tens of thousands of dollars into this community. So recently we found out that this lease will not be renewed for next year for a Little Big Minds Monterey. And so we're at
Justin Campbell. On deck, Amanda Martin.
So we graduated to turning the mic off if the minute goes by. Okay. All right. I just want to, before I get started, I want anybody from Little Big Minds to actually stand up and be represented as we're coming here. I'm also representing Little Big Minds, and on behalf of every family that is represented here, we have over 300 families that are currently attending Little Big Minds. Myself, I have a daughter who is 4 years old and a son that will be attending next year if we are to continue the lease. So one of the issues that we had with this lease no longer being there, we sought an organ or an entity such as Little Big Minds that is Spanish immersion. And just like many other families, many of them also walk into the campus in order for their kids to attend. And so what we found is that with this being removed from the community, it actually takes a lot more from the community. So one thing I want to implore you on is a lot of times we are having a lack because we want instant gratification. A school is an investment, not just for today, but into the future. We're not sure why this lease is ending, but we know that the investment has shown reason for us to continue. And so we wanted to just voice our opinions and let you all know that we're here for a reason and we love.
Amanda Martin and Angel Poor.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Martini. My son has been attending the Spanish immersion preschool, Little Big Minds Monterey campus, located on 3rd Street in Oak for the past 3 years. I'm currently the PTO. I'm the PTO as the classroom liaison, working closely with parents, teachers, and other school staff to ensure we have a strong community. We are heartbroken. We were heartbroken to hear that Phoenix One has chosen not to renew our lease ending in May of 2024. And at this point, I'm assuming that you have heard from many of the concerned and upset parents and community members who have reached out to you via email and public comments. We're unaware at this point of why our repeated attempts to renew our lease has been denied. So I know right now you're not really responding to us at the moment, but we would really like to know if you can provide some clarification and some details as to why our lease is not being renewed. because we would like our children to continue on in Spanish immersion. And unfortunately, that's some.
Hi there, and thank you. I'm Angel Poor. I am the Territory Vice President with Little Big Minds Spanish Immersion School. I want to start off by reminding you your two goals you mentioned a moment ago and what increased your reading skills in your district. You said that literacy and mathematics was your goal number 1 and 2 in early childhood. That's what the Spanish Immersion program brings to the community. It is proven that children that have an immersed program have higher mathematic testing scores and higher English and reading scores. And that's what you're looking for in your district. So you leading in with that goal, we're providing that in the community. All of these community members that pay taxes and are in your community, contributing to your business growth and working in these communities, need care for their children. Continuity of care for their children is important. They need to have consistency for their children to develop into the adults that are going to grow this community here. So what I'm asking is have a conversation. Talk to us and talk about what the plans are with the program and what we can do to extend the lease to continue growth in this community that these community members are providing, and join our community together.
Last public comment, Justin Graham.
Hi, members of the board. Thank you for hearing us out tonight. I'm Justin Graham. I live at 35 East Hoover Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona, right down the street from this campus. So I'm also the father of a daughter who's at the campus. To the extent that the lease negotiations are a dead letter, I won't reiterate, I think, all the objections tonight. I would implore you to relook at that. If the answer is that you have another use for the school, I think I also would implore you to communicate that to us. We have huge concerns about that campus being vacant as it was prior to the use. The occupancy, the underutilization as a training center or storage is like not acceptable. The $100 million bond this district got 2 years ago was predicated on like fulfilling, maximizing uses. And to the extent that there's not an academic full-time use for that structure, like we need to know that as constituents. So I appreciate the back and forth, the candor. We would request an answer. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll move on to the electronic comments.
Yes. Ready? Our first one is from Mary Curtin. She says, good morning. This email constitutes a community communication for the governing boards on December 12, 2023 regular meeting. I was disappointed to learn that the Phoenix Elementary School District's governing board has decided not to renew the district's lease agreement with Little Big Minds Cadence Education for the use of the previously vacant Monterey Park School campus. Our 3-year-old daughter has thrived at the Little Big Minds Monterey campus for 2 years. Our family also lives at 35 states an address, just a short walk from the Monterey Park School. Because we live within the Phoenix Elementary School boundaries and have for the past 10 years, I speak both as Little Big Minds parents and as a would-be Phoenix Elementary School parent. As community members, we are concerned that upon termination of the Little Big Minds lease in May 2024, the school again sit vacant, not only depriving our community of a vibrant school filled with learning, but also posing a significant security risk to neighboring homes like ours. As you know, Monterey Park itself struggles with the safety and security. Next. Next one is from Green. Dear Phoenix 1 District representatives, I hope this email finds you well. My name is Ellie Green. I am writing to you as a concerned parent with a vested interest in our Phoenix youth. I am a parent of a current preschooler and also an alumni of the Little Big Minds Monterey campus. As proud parents of Little Big Minds children, I want to underscore the invaluable impact this preschool has had on our children's early education and stress the significance of its location in Midtown Phoenix. Little Big Minds employs a balanced curriculum uniquely focused on child-led investigations that encourage children to seek good questions rather than just good answers. This approach not only fosters a love for learning, but also cultivates critical thinking skills from an early age. Additionally, our children, both coming from an English-speaking household, have acquired Spanish skills at Little Big Minds, a key asset for becoming active members of the Phoenix community. This Spanish immersion education not only enriches their cultural awareness, but also equips them with essential tools for effective communication and engagement in our diverse city. The next one is from Ashley Kelly. Dear board members, I am writing to you to express concerns that the district is not extending the lease for the campus for Little Big Minds at Third Street and Oak. Quality childcare is in short supply in Phoenix, particularly for Central Phoenix. We love living in Central Phoenix, and it is critical that childcare and quality education exist to keep families at the district. While no explanation was provided for not extending the lease, I urge you to reconsider without early childcare. Families will need to go elsewhere for these services. I have lived and worked in Central Phoenix for over 10 years. Many parents face challenges considering their children's education, and I would love to support the district we are in. However, failure to support feeder and support organizations will make raising a family in Central Phoenix that much harder. By not renewing the lease, you are creating uncertainty in childcare for many families and increasing demand within the area, which leads to families leaving the district. I again ask that you reconsider or take time to hear from the community on the use of the property before finalizing your decision. Ashley Kelly. The next one is from Matt Green. Dear Phoenix 1 District Representatives, I trust this email finds you in good health. My name is Matt Green. I am writing to you as a concerned parent and engaged member of our community. I am the proud parent of preschooler at Little Big Minds, and I am reaching out to express my deep concern regarding the recent news that the lease for the Monterey campus may not be renewed. As a parent deeply invested in the welfare and education of our children, I am also writing in my capacity as an engaged community member. Little Big Minds has become an integral part of our lives, contributing significantly to the growth and development of our child. The balanced curriculum, with its emphasis on child-led investigations, has proven to be an invaluable approach to early education. Through a variety of cross-functional learning activities, Little Big Minds has not only fostered a love for learning in our child, but has also laid the groundwork for critical thinking skills that will serve them well in the future. The prospect of losing such a nurturing and enriching educational environment is distressing for our entire community. Yesterday, we were disheartened Next is from Whitney Mahoney. Hello, I hope your week is well. I am submitting the request for the following to be shared at the board meeting tonight, 12/12. I will be running late from work and don't want to miss the opportunity to share on behalf of the Little Big Minds Monterey campus community. My info and texts are below. I appreciate your time. Please let me know if I need to share anything additional. Dear respected members of the board, I'm Whitney Mahoney, a concerned parent and proud member of the Little Big Minds Monterey campus community. My 2-year-old, a Little Big Minds student, loves his school and his teachers, and our family has been embraced by this remarkable community. As a parent, I've had the deep sense of comfort and joy watching him grow and thrive in such a short period. The Little Big Minds teachers and staff expertly cultivate critical connections and ignite sparks of curiosity for lifelong learning. The campus is not just an exceptional learning space, it's integral to our community and filled with people from community who bring it to life. Speaking of pure logistics, the flexibility and enrollment options are also essential to our work and family schedules. As a third-generation Arizonan, deeply devoted to our city and neighborhood, I emphasize the vital role Sorry, I have a duplicate. The next one is from Martha Valent Zimmerman. This email constitutes a community communication for the governing board's December 12, 2023 regular meeting. I was disappointed to learn that the Phoenix Elementary School District's governing board has decided not to renew the district's lease agreement with Little Big Minds Cadence Education for the use of the previously vacant Monterey Park School campus. Our family has been attending Little Big Minds the last 2 years, and our children have been thriving. Our children love the community this school brings, and it is just a short walk from our house in the Willow Historic District. As community members, we are concerned that upon termination of the Little Big Minds lease in May 2024, the school will once again sit vacant, not only depriving our community of vibrant school filled with learning, but also posing a significant security risk to neighboring homes like ours. As you may know, Monterey Park itself struggles with safety and security due to the regular presence of unhoused individuals. Having the school space activated has made a significant impact in the feeling of safety and security. Next one's from Heidi Rodriguez. Good afternoon. This email constitutes a community communication for the governing board's December 12, 2023 regular meeting. My family lives in Coronado neighborhood at states and address. We have had our children in the Little Big Minds programs for the past 4 years, and we're so thrilled when the campus moved to Monterey. I have been a classroom volunteer each year and love that our family is a part of the vibrant community. I was disappointed to learn that the Phoenix Elementary School District's governing board has decided not to renew the district's lease with the Little Big Minds Cadence Education for the use of the previously vacant Monterey Park School campus. Our children, 5 years and nearly 3 years, have thrived at the Little Big Minds Monterey campus. The education has been well-rounded and feel that it prepares our children to move into elementary school with the enhanced dual language skills that we do not possess at home. We love being a part of the community and very much appreciate being able to walk, stroll, or scooter our children to school. In addition to being at the school, we have been spending time at the adjacent park as it is convenient to stop on the way home. Next one is from Kristen Ruth. Hello, this email is a community communication for the governing board's December 12, 2023 meeting. I was sad to hear that the district hasn't declined to renew the lease agreement with Little Big Minds for the use of Monterey Park School. And I would like to ask you to reconsider your decision. Our family lives within district boundaries at states and address, just a short walk from the Monterey Park School. Our 4-year-old son has attended Little Big Minds Monterey campus for 2 years, and it has provided quality education and thriving community for us. I consistently vote to approve school district bonds and other voter approved items. This includes the most recent 2022 special election, wherein the district specifically saw a 97 million bond approval and approval to sell and lease its properties for the beneficial use of the district. I believe having a high quality Spanish immersion program on site is a great benefit of the Phoenix Elementary community. Please let it stay. Thank you for your time on this matter, Kristen Ruth. Next one is from Elaine Ortega. Good afternoon. My name is Elaine Ortega, and I am the parent of a student who attends the Little Big Mind School Monterey campus. We were just informed that your office has declined to renew the lease for the campus located on 2301 North Street, Phoenix, Arizona, 85004. Clearly, this is upsetting information to us, not so much because of the change, because in this day and age, we do expect our children to navigate change quickly on a day-to-day basis and somehow provide them the stability and structure to become successful adults. It's more so because we have committed the next 3 years of her life to this campus, to this curriculum, and to these teachers. We plan this for our child. We expect the city of Phoenix, who we pay our taxes to, and the politicians that represent us to provide us the same planning. My understanding is that this campus will be ripped away from us with little to no notice or explanation. My understanding is there aren't any concrete plans in the future for the campus. If that's the case, what does it hurt to renew their lease 1 year? Next one is from Jennifer Moore. Says, I'm currently in my 10th year teaching for PESD number 1 and first year being a part of the Little Big Mind community. This is regarding the renewal of LBM lease at Monterey Park. To read during the board meeting. Good evening, board members. My name is Jennifer Moore. I'm not only a parent of a child at Little Big Minds, but I am also an educator for PESD number 1. I have been for the past 10 years. I am disappointed to learn that the PESD's governing board has decided not to renew the district's lease agreement with the Little Big Minds Cadence Education for the use of the Monterey Park School campus. For my family, we chose this program because it's a Spanish immersion program that is highly recommended by many friends and coworkers. They also offer a full-day program for working parents like myself and its location. As a PESD employer, I did look into our programs first, but sadly, we do not offer full-day preschool or a Spanish immersion preschool. This next one is from Mary Bankhead. Hello, governing board. This governing board's antics in firing the former superintendent and the palpable tension that is omnipresent between the members is infuriating. The governing board has become a reality TV show like The Real Housewives or political grandstanding like House of Cards rather than public education advocates committed to and focused on students, teachers, and families. I am confused and disheartened. I do not have an issue with Dr. Gonzalez being interim or the firing if it was best for PESD one, but I have a significant issue with how the governing board went about it, alienating its own members, students, and families in a process that was not transparent at all. I would like to request the governing board add an agenda item for January 2024 to clearly delineate how much it is costing the district to fire the previous superintendent as follows. One, what exact amount did the cost PESD one students to buy out Dr. Davila Hagiga remaining contract years? Two, what exact amount did it cost PESD one students? The next one is from Miguel Soto Cano. I am writing to express my dismay at the PESD governing board's decision to terminate the lease agreement with Little Big Minds Cadence Education for the Monterey Park School campus where my 3-year-old daughter attends a Spanish immersion program. My family and I have been residents of the district for over a decade, and as a bilingual Mexican-American family, we value the educational opportunities that the Little Big Minds provides to our child and the community. Little Big Minds is a high-quality school that offers a rich and diverse curriculum in a bilingual environment. The school has revitalized the Monterey Park campus, which was previously unused, and has enhanced the community and the neighborhood. As neighbors, we will hate to see the community link lost when the Little Big Minds is forced to leave the campus. I am concerned that the board's decision will have negative consequences for the students, the families, and the community. The students will lose access to a unique and beneficial learning experience that prepares them for a successful educational career. The families will face uncertainty and disruption in their children's education. The next one is from Lindo Lowe. Dear Governing Board, I am a parent and longtime resident of Phoenix Elementary School District Number 1. My family has been part of the LBM community since 2020. My daughter attended the LBM Monterey campus from its opening until graduating last year. I was eagerly awaiting registration for 2024 academic year to register my son at the Monterey campus. I was devastated to learn about its possible closure. Little Big Minds fosters an incredible community for the families it serves, many of whom reside in District Number 1. If the LBM Monterey campus is dissolved, residents in the district will have to look to other communities for high-quality early childhood education. The neighborhood will lose a vital neighbor. The LBM Monterey community is young, but in the 3 years the school has been open, they have been partnered with neighboring schools and businesses for events and fundraising. The LBM Monterey community also has the opportunity to be a partner to District Number 1. So many of the kids at LBM are potential District Number 1 students. If the district enables LBM Monterey to thrive, The next one is from Mara Reynolds. Good evening. Good evening, board members. Having lived in downtown Phoenix for almost 30 years, I have seen our neighborhoods change, grow, and become more family friendly. My children are now 19 and 15, and when they were younger, there were few good positions to send them for a good education close by. Having more and more young families move into the Willow, Encanto, Roosevelt, and FQ Story historic neighborhoods, we need to keep good options alive for these families. We need to ensure that downtown Phoenix is the place to be for urban living at its best. Please consider the lease renewal of this popular, loved preschool. Sincerely, Mara Reynolds. The next one is from Carrie Nibel. I would like to express my feelings about the school in our neighborhood. I live in Willow and will love to the diversity it brings to the children and the neighborhood. The world needs more open-minded kids who know how to think for themselves and problem solve, and we especially love having this school nearby for our local kids. I strongly support renewing the lease for Central Phoenix. Please contact me for any questions. The next one is from Cutter Pleasant Horsecraft Products, to whom it may concern. My now 6-year-old daughter attended LBM at the Monterey campus from the time the campus opened. She graduated last year and is now a kindergartner. She has excelled in learning Spanish immensely. More importantly, the community we grew with while attending LBM in Monterey has now become like a family to us. We may have found lifelong friends for our daughter, and we have become close with their parents as well. LBM built a very special space for families to feel welcome, including grandparents, as they always open their doors for performances and parties. My son is now attending a different preschool because we were unable to get him into LBM Monterey until he reaches 2 years old. We were planning on enrolling him at LBM Monterey because we love the school so much and felt safe, confident, and happy that our children were growing in an excellent learning environment, one that was surrounded by a caring community and staff. We ask you, please allow LBM to continue educating our youngest Phoenicians at the Monterey campus. Thank you for your time and consideration. The next one is from Christopher Nodelman. It's come to my attention, the lease will now be renewed for Little Bit Minds Monterey campus. Can the board kindly reconsider this decision? We have friends that love the school, and these kinds of decisions have an extremely negative impact on our children and their families. What can be done for you to reconsider? Chris and Kelly Nodelman. Next one is from Jacob Sheets. Hello, governing board. As we near the end of the fall semester, the Shaw Montessori PTA would like to share with you all and of PSD 1, our fall 2023 highlights. We have attached an infographic that shows all that we have accomplished, including hosted activities and events to build community in and around Shaw Montessori, opened the practical life room to support Montessori curriculum, developed Shaw ambassadors to welcome new students and families to Shaw Montessori, created Shaw Montessori apparel to build community affinity, supporting over 60 educators and 500 students with classroom stipends, field trip support, and funds to enrich learning, provide welcome week meals for staff, provide free childcare and dinner for PTA meetings. We are students, educators, and families who volunteer because we care. We have accomplished a lot, and there is even more in store for spring 2024. Shaw Montessori PTA reminds any governing board and superintendent cabinet member that they are welcome at any PTA meeting or event. There is another infographic that shows all of the the next one is from Brittany Wilkins. Good evening. Please reconsider fulfilling the lease for this campus. It is such an asset to Willow community and provides an intangible asset to the neighborhood. Removing this type of academic opportunity limits the potential for current and future families in the community. Thank you for your consideration. B. Watkins. Next one is from Lara Siri. Dear board members, I found several matching places. I don't have ours. Sorry about that. Dear board members, our sweet friend Parker goes to Little Big Minds Monterey campus on 3rd and Oak. This is a lease campus, and we are so sad they are not renewing the lease after this school year. Please change your mind and renew to keep this gem alive in our neighborhood. They love being able to walk her to a Spanish immersion preschool and the culture it brings to the area. They are very sad that her big brother Theodore may not be able to go to preschool there now. Thanks for your time, Lara. Next one is from Ted McLaren. Dear board members, our sweet friend Parker goes to Little Big Minds Monterey campus on 3rd and Oak. This is a lease campus, and we are so sad they are not renewing the lease after the school year. Please change your mind and renew to keep this gem alive in our neighborhood. They love being able to walk her to Spanish immersion preschool and the culture it brings to the area. They are very sad that her big brother Theodore may not be able to go to preschool there now. Thanks for your time, Ted McLaren. Next one is from Karen Royal. She states her address. As a member of the community, I am writing to urge the lease renewal of the Little Big Minds Spanish Immersion Preschool Monterey campus. The education and services offered by Little Big Minds is essential to the enrichment of our community. Losing Little Big Minds would be a detriment to our community culture and value. Thank you for your consideration. Next one is from Linda H. Soto. I am writing to express the disappointment in the PESD governing board's decision to not renew their lease agreement with Little Big Mines and Monterey Park. This school is such an important part of our community and where my daughter has grown and made close friends over the past semester. We are heartbroken that we can't continue LBM within our own neighborhood, where we have also become quite attached to the LBM family. It has been a unique and wonderful experience that somehow isn't very available in downtown Midtown. When I voted in 2022 to approve funding for PESD to buy and lease property for its best interest, I thought I was voting for funding that would help revitalize our city. However, that not appear to be the intent with this decision. I hope they will reconsider. Linda Soto. The next one is from John Comerford. Dear Board, I can't be at your meeting tonight, so I hope you will consider my note in my absence. A neighbor told me today that the city has refused to renew Little Big Mines lease at 3rd Street and Oak. I live at States and Address, so the district's intentions regarding that property are for very real interest to me. I bought this house in 2001 and was an early gentrifier. Sometime during the last few years, without my hearing anything about it, the city of Phoenix approved the sale of my Paistewa Peak view, my privacy, and except for Sundays and federal holidays, my ability to enjoy a moment of silence. It's strange since I didn't hear anything about Embry's development independently, and no neighbor mentioned a word to me ever. No NIMBY, but 5 stories looming over my wall is shocking and appalling, since it is manifestly apparently to me that planning and zoning. Sorry, it's a duplicate from Ted McLaren. The next one is hunt work patience. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I am very concerned about the possible non-renewal of the lease for the Little Big Mine School at 3rd and Oak Street, which is located in my neighborhood. I live around the corner from that location and States and Address. This school, an immersion program in Spanish, exemplifies diversity and pluralism, which are central goals and ideals of our multicultural school system and community at large. It was therefore with disbelief that I learned that your board is considering eliminating the opportunity for Little Big Mines to continue in the neighborhood in which its students reside and where it has been so successful. It occurs to me that instead of eliminating this branch of the school, you should be highlighting the school both statewide and nationally as a model of educational success in the location where it serves a community. Admittedly, every neighborhood school could be eliminated, combined with another school in a remote location, and supplanted with more economically profitable non-educational uses. The next one is from Jamie Nesbitt. Hello, this email constitutes the community communication for the governing board's December 12, 2023 meeting. My wife and I are disappointed to learn that the Phoenix Elementary School District's governing board has decided not to renew the district's lease agreement with Little Big Mines Cadence Education for the use of the previously vacant Monterey Park School campus. Our family lives within walking distance to the Little Big Mines Monterey campus. We use this walk as time to debrief on all the culture and love and learning our 3-year-old daughter has received that day, and we often are stopped along the way to talk with neighbors. Going to the school is not only allowing our daughter to thrive, but it is a part of our community. Our daughter's classroom, Salon Azul, created a soccer team, and we would practice at Monterey Park after school. Terminating the lease with the Little Big Mines is a concern not only for our daughter, but for our neighborhood security. Having the school space has made a significant impact on the safety and security in our neighborhood and in the park. And as a side note, this is a neighborhood full of potential future. Next one is from Kaylin Borner. Dear board members, our sweet friend Parker goes to Little Big Mines Monterey campus on 3rd and Oak. This is a lease campus, and we are so sad they are not renewing. the lease after the school year, please consider changing your mind and renewing to keep this gem alive in our neighborhood. The kids love being able to walk to a Spanish immersion preschool, and their parents enjoy the culture it brings to the area. Parker is very sad that her big brother Theodore may not be able to go to preschool there now. Thanks for your time. Next one is from Nika Edwards Jackson. Good afternoon. This email constitutes a community communication for the governing board's December 12, 2023 regular meeting. I am a parent and pediatrician who currently lives in the Phoenix Elementary School District at States and Address. I was very sad to learn yesterday that the Phoenix Elementary School District's governing board has decided not to renew the district's lease agreement with Little Big Minds for the use of Monterey Park School Campus. We joined the LBM community in 2021 when our first daughter started there at the age of 2. She is now 4 years old and in her last year at LBM, while our second daughter, who is now 2, is in her first of 3 years. Both our daughters have thrived at LBM, and the Spanish immersion program there has given them the gift of learning a second language, something that I hope they will continue throughout their education. The year 2021 was also when we moved to Phoenix and bought our first house. This city truly became our new home thanks to the community we developed at Little Big Minds. It is a diverse, committed, and vibrant community when I think of the Monterey Park campus at LBM closing. Next one is from Casey Parco. Good evening. This email constitutes a community communication for the governing board's December 12, 2023 regular meeting. I was recently notified that there will be no further renewal of the district's lease agreement with Little Big Minds Cadence Education for the use of the previously vacant Monterey Park School Campus. We have a 3-year-old son who has attended Little Big Minds Monterey campus for 2 years. We were at a previous preschool not too far from here, but decided to move him to Little Big Minds because of the positive feedback we heard from friends with children attending the school. Since then, we have seen the immense growth developmentally, socially, and mentally, not only within my child, but his peers and teachers. We live in the FQ Story District, which is only 2 miles from the school. Having this option for our family has been a positive experience, and we also had hopes to enroll our daughter once she is of age to Little Big Minds. My husband and I moved to Phoenix beginning of March 2020 and realized that Phoenix Elementary School District does not offer high-quality preschool options in our area and does not have a strong dual language immersion program. The next one is from Anne Kotliba. Dear school board members, I am reaching out in connection with the lease of Little Big Minds at the Monterey School property on Oak and 3rd Streets. As a homeowner residing on blocks south of the school over 5 years and a parent to lively and inquisitive 2.5-year-old, I am deeply invested in the well-being of our community. It brings my family great joy to smile and wave to the families and children as they walk, bike, and stroll to and from school. Amid our urban environment, the significance of having neighborhood-based schools cannot be overstated. I don't know the school's board intentions behind the denial of the lease, but if the decision is influenced by a desire to align with the capital-driven development trends, potentially converting the space into something other than nurturing, supportive community for youth empowerment, it raises apprehension. Our neighborhood thrives on the presence of such institutions that contribute to the positive development of our children. Denying this opportunity may impact not only my daughter, but all the children in our surrounding neighborhoods, depriving them. And that concludes the electronic communications.
Okay, we are moving on to our consent agenda. May I get a motion to approve?
Alicia Ving, so moved.
This is Carmen Trujillo, I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Mr. Reginald Carrillo, Dr. Alicia Vink,
Aye.
and Ms. Carmen Trujillo. Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to information and discussion. Number 1, our new committee for Reimagine Phoenix, number 1.
President Bueno, members of the board, and our cabinet members and viewing public, as well as members of the community. We would like to share with you the committee that we're putting together for Reimagine Phoenix number 1. And I'm going to ask Mr. Manley to share this conversation with us. As soon as people are leaving, we can transition. The Reimagine Committee has a vision. A vision that keeps us grounded, that as the first public school district in the state of Arizona, Phoenix #1 has helped to shape the communities where people live and work, creating vital and culturally rich communities. And so in the next 152 years, we want to work with our community to reimagine what is possible and to think about the ways in which we use our spaces to continue that legacy. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Manley at this point.
Thank you, Governing Board, President, Governing Board, Superintendent, and community members. Yes, to follow up on what Dr. Gonzalez had talked about, we're very excited about kicking off this new committee. We talked about the vision. And if we take a look at the outcomes that this new committee is proposing to accomplish, we look to create learning opportunities for the future, reimagine shared spaces for residents and professionals, and educate the next workforce for Phoenix's economic vitality. This committee's purpose is to elicit stakeholder feedback. So this committee will be composed of government or community members, which may or may not, or which will include the City of Phoenix, neighborhood groups, a variety of councils, business partners, community partners, the Board of Administration, educators, and members from our associations and local administration. Part of the purpose of this committee is to look at the programming that our district offers. As we move into the future, we would need to explore different K-8 models, which may include mini med or STEM programs, a robust performing arts program, gifted schools and honors programs. In addition, we'd be looking at a K-4 model for some of our schools, in addition to a 5 through 8 model at some of our other schools. So just taking a look at that, we'd be looking at both K-8 models, K-4 and 5 through 8 models, which would include traditional neighborhood schools. And then taking a look at our footprint for what we have also in our district, there might be some additional specialty programs, which may include a Center for Exceptional Needs, expanded Newcomer Center, Workforce Development Training Center, a robust neighborhood community center, and expanded dual language programming. Another aspect of this group would be to take a look at the capital projects that we have as a district. And again, thank you to the governing board and community for supporting the bond that passed in 22. So part of this group would be invested in taking a look at what the best use for those capital projects might be. On this slide, I've attached the initial capital project list that went along with the first issuance of that bond. And then, of course, that bond also opened up doors for technology, student transportation, and then we also have capital override options and adjacent ways options that could be considered also by this committee. So the next steps, if we're looking to kick this committee off to get robust feedback, we're looking at an initial commencement date projected for the week of January 14th. We'd be identifying and inviting the initial attendees, creating initial welcoming agenda and reduce the topics for the feedback that we're looking for. We'd establish a monthly meeting calendar for input from the committee members. I'm looking to establish a terminating date for outcome goals so that this committee has a purpose with a timeline. And this iteration would be for the remainder of this school year and looking into next school year. Establish a communication pathway for the committee recommendations to inform the administration so that we can inform the governing board what our stakeholder groups are looking to accomplish with the tasks at hand. And then finally, to celebrate Phoenix One, driving innovation into the future. And with that, that's a very basic overview of what we're trying to accomplish with this future committee to take a proactive stance on what our district might be looking for as we move forward, both with our footprint and with our capital projects. And thank you. And if there's any questions, we'll do our best to answer them.
Thank you. I also just want to emphasize that this is us continuing the Pathways to Success Committee that we had started back in 2009, 2020. So I want to thank Mr. Manley and Dr. Gonzalez for your efforts in revitalizing this committee. And I just wanted to ask for the stakeholders if we can include parents in that group. And then I also wanted to add or highlight that I believe we need an emphasis on art. So we can also look into that programming of how do we include art. I mean, we're home to Roosevelt Arts District, and I really think that that's a good opportunity to highlight all our emerging artists. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Manley. Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to receive staff recommendations to add regulation IMD-R, school ceremonies and observations.
Madam President, IMD is a regulation that is already in existence. What we are doing with IMDR is providing a recommendation for regulation that will help to provide more guidance for schools in terms of ceremonies and observances of districts and what the district celebration procedures are. And so you'll note in the guidance that there are named celebrations and named religious holidays and non-religious holidays, but we also want to make sure that there is a determination that when schools are making determinations of what to do, that is coming through cabinet so that we can ensure that what is being done on the school sites is consistent with the objectives of the policy, but also with state statutes around such celebrations. We also have cross-referenced other policies that relate to this in terms of paid time off for employees and also for being observant of and respectful of people's cultural differences and not being forcing one opinion or one viewpoint on others. This is an item that does not require action. It's an information item.
Thank you. Any questions?
Madam Chair, I do have a comment. I just wanted to say thank you for the work being done on this. Being able to celebrate these items is important, I think, for our community and our students. So thank you very much.
Okay. Moving on to action items. Number 1, request approval to adopt revised ASBA advisory policy recommendations. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adopt?
This is Carmen Trujillo, so moved.
Alicia Vinkel, second.
Roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Mr. Reginald Carrillo, Dr. Alicia Vink,
Yes.
sorry, and Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our second action item, receive, discuss, and take action on additions of policies to update the district policy manual as a second read. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adopt?
This is Carmen Trujillo, so moved.
Alicia Vinkel, second.
Roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Mr. Reginald Carrillo, Dr. Alicia Vink,
Aye.
and Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our action item number 3, request approval of equity adjustment for longstanding Phoenix #1 employees.
Madam President, members of the board, we are very excited about this opportunity, and we have an infographic that was created by our communications team. This is something that we started last year with the work with JB Reward System, and our human resources and our communications and our business services team have really worked hard to put together a clear guidance that provides information for employees about what the next step in this is. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Manley, who has put together a great celebration for where we are moving with this next step.
Thank you so much. Oops. Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. President Bueno, Governing Board members, Superintendent, Cabinet, and Community. And actually, can we toggle over to the memo that was provided as the attached agenda item? And we'll get back to the infographic, which is fantastic. But administration was bringing to you an exciting extension of the work that we started implementing after our approval of the new stepless master salary schedule in May that took effect in July. As suggested and in the attached memo with the board documentation, the allocation of equity adjustments is formula-based and designated and designed to serve as a good faith effort to realign pay and be more in line with each employee and their distance from the midpoint of their pay grade. Phase 2 of this project was supposed to be implemented this coming July 1st, but given budget capacity, partially based on our M&O carryover from 22-23, we recommend not waiting. And I'm asking for special consideration to continue this work next semester, about half a year early, and for the board to give approval to dedicate about $365,000 to taking further steps at eliminating internal pay inequities identified by JB Reward Systems during our compensation study. When looking into the submitted memo that you have in your board docs, authored by the JB Reward System, several things are present, including a look at the reasoning behind the organizational changes and enhanced careers, which were part A and B of the memo, which resulted in the updated position descriptions as presented in the consent agenda. This work at upgrading position descriptions will continue to be ongoing. However, section C of this memo and what I'm asking you to approve is our attempt to fast forward the known and needed equity adjustments that were both identified in May and became more apparent with the implementation of the stepless compensation model. Our goal continues to get employees closer to the midpoint of their salary ranges in the positions that they've been placed. Specifically, the prorated amount to be implemented in January is $365,000, which will bring approximately 421 of our 882 employees, or about 48% of our employees, closer to the midpoint of their individual salary ranges. This prorated amount captures an annualized cost of about $740,000, which would continue into the future. Your approval will allow us to make these internal changes for the remainder of this school year instead of waiting until next school year. This equity adjustment is forward-facing and is not retroactive. This process required an individual by individual look at where each employee was placed in July and how far from the midpoint they were initially placed. And moves these individuals identified as furthest from their midpoint closer to the midpoint. Specifically, this ask captures approximately 45% of certified teaching staff, 51% of classified hourly staff, 45% of instructional professionals, which is our like OT, PT, and speech folks, and captures about 44% of administrative staff. And depending on the factors that I've already mentioned, each individual identified as being placed furthest from the midpoint of their grade will receive between a 1.2 and 4.8% equity adjustment. And again, this is not a blanket raise. As approved previously the board, this multi-year salary schedule upgrade will result in Phoenix number 1 having a competitive salary schedule for both initially hired employees as well as internal equity for our current employees. And if you want to pop back up that beautiful infographic. This infographic takes steps in, sorry to go back and forth. Yes, sir. So this infographic talks about the goals of the district, what we did in May, which was to give the 2.6% global raise for the district. It describes the equity raises that accompany that 2.6% raise and the amounts by employment category. And this includes the year 1.5, or what we hope to do in January, which looks at those, again, those internal equity issues and helps mitigate those by getting those particular employees closer to the midpoint. Whenever we adopted this in May, we looked at this as a 3-year process, given budget capacity, but we found that we have budget capacity to move year 2, half a year early, which is a really good step. And this talks about in true year 2, which would be at the end of May, and then looking at what the legislature gives us for a M&O bump, we would continue to take a look at internal equity and the entire framework of our compensation, and we could make decisions based on what we anticipate for the 24-25 school year. And then again, the idea is by year 3, which would be May of 25, a year after this, is to bring the district closer to that midpoint, or what we have described as the 60th percentile of the compensation for surrounding districts to make us competitive. And so this step would bring us into a greater framework of internal equitability on how we're compensating our employees that we have hired. So this would by and large not affect people that were newly hired that were placed on the new stepless system, but would help mitigate the internal inequities that we've identified through the process. And if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
Madam Chair, I've got one, when we mentioned the internal inequities, I'm thinking I might want an example of that, but I also think that you mentioned in your superintendent's report earlier, your meetings with our staff. So I just wonder if those were part of this plan, if that was like what the steps we're taking. And if so, I don't need an example because I know she's already taking care of it.
So one of the things that this plan does do, it looks at what Mr. Vance called organizational adjustments. And so that is looking at our organization, and that is actually where we wrote some new position descriptions. So, and again, this goes back to our student outcomes focused governance. The intent behind some of these descriptions is going back to making sure that we've got the right staff to provide that direct support to the classrooms, to be able to provide that training and that support to get the outcomes that we've been talking about. In addition, we're looking at creating what are like career enhancement steps. So I don't get stuck at a generic level of accountant. Now what happens is based on skills and certifications that I earn along the tenure of my work at the Phoenix #1, I will be able to gain, as I gain credentials and skills and experience, I'll be able to move up into a different level of accounting. And I'm not going to say the names because I would be, I won't know the names of them, but the same will be true in our trade professions as well. So one example that you might want to think about is for our admin assistants. So there's a general secretary position. And then as you move up in responsibility and the numbers of people that you serve and the public facing, you would get a next level of secretary. And then when you're serving a member of the cabinet or the superintendent, you move to another level of that. And so that is one way to create more equity in terms of where you're placed in the scale. That also then affords, because you're placed at a different level, that also affords an opportunity to get another bump in the pay scale.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Gonzalez. Does this include looking right now at the certifications and skills and things like that, and not so much futuristically, but like now and futuristically?
That's what's so exciting about this. Because of the work of our human resources and our business services departments, we are able to not have to wait until next year to put this in their contracts. We're able to do it. Well, technically it will be next year because it will be 2024, but it's going to be at the very beginning of 2024 as opposed to the beginning of the next academic school year.
Thank you very much. That answered my question exactly.
Dr. Gonzalez, we had 12 new job descriptions that we adopted in the consent agenda. How many of those are classified staff?
I'm going to look to my expert team to provide the answer for that. And while they're looking, I will let you know that the position description work will continue in this. Now that we've got this first step and we've got the system down, we're able to start looking at our position descriptions and updating those now through the rest of this project, but in particular through the next semester.
Thank you. And I know we're working on that, but I think for equity's sake, I think the priority should also be to focus on the classified.
Absolutely. And in fact, when you look at the equity adjustments that were made, you notice that the biggest priority was for our classified hourly employees. And so we want to continue because they're furthest away from the mid in some cases. That's our biggest priority, is getting everyone to the mid as quickly as we possibly can.
Thank you. And I know that for transparency, I would also appreciate the constant communication with classified staff of like the changes and the updates. I don't know if that consists of your monthly meetings with them, weekly communication, or hosting some type of workshop where it's not so much as a blanket statement of this is what to look forward, but to actually speak to their job and help them understand how this is going to better help their job.
So that will occur in a variety of different ways. And Dr. Elshire did just count the positions. There are 7 that are classified positions in the job descriptions that were approved. So the communication will take place through our associations, but we're also putting this on the website. We're also going to email this to all of our principals and our directors, and we will also provide talking points. The other nice thing that Ms. Baker did in the infographic is she created a link so people can link and see where their job is on that. And that will also help us get very clear about what the impact is for each of the individuals.
Thank you. If you can send us that infographic, because I'm not seeing it on the board docs. But I do want to thank this team for picking up where we left off initially with the compensation study. And thank you to PECTA and ESPA for their continued effort in making sure that the compensation study was equitably distributed. And yep, any other questions? All right, can I get a motion to approve the equity adjustments for longstanding Phoenix #1 employees?
This is Carmen Trujillo, so moved.
Alicia Vinkel, second.
Roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Mr. Reginald Carrillo, Dr. Alicia Vink,
Aye.
and Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. The motion passes. We'll move on to our closing items, future agenda items. Any requests? Okay. Hearing none.
I have a future agenda item. I'd like to look at our discipline data again. Please.
So then you would like that on the agenda for a discussion item?
However, cabinet sees fit. Yes.
Board member requests?
Madam Chair, I've got a few. Just for futuristic purposes, let's get our study session dates organized, whichever those will be. And I think over the summer, we received an update on our vacancies, our vacant positions. So I just wondered if we might know when we'll get another update regarding that. And a board update on what kind of resources and stuff our families, school-based resources, and what our families will have access to over this break before the coming of the new year.
I have 2 requests. The first is if someone could remind me, I know we talked extensively about it at some point, about having childcare options in the district, and sliding fee preschools. So just want to be reminded where we landed on that. And then, or maybe it's in the reimagining committee, and you can just say that too. And then a request for an update on when our next coaching with Dr. Ramos will be. That's all.
Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Mrs. Carmen Trujillo, so moved.
Jessica Bueno, I second. Thank you all for your time this evening. Want to wish everybody safe and happy holidays. We will be meeting again next year, January 16th, 5:15. Everybody be safe. Thank you.